I think I've got everything. So, oh, while we're here, I think that's you there in the straw hat. I'm sure that's you. No. Not you? No. That's my car. Is it? Well, you can have it anyway.
That's my car.
I thought that was that first contest we had at Waipu Cove, the first club one, 66.
No. That looked like Tim.
That's Max Atkins.
Tim Fraserhurst.
I think that's Max Atkins.
Could be. That's Ian Butt there, I think.
Yeah. For some reason I thought that was you.
No, that's my wagon there anyway.
Yep.
That's your wagon next door.
Yeah, the old Murray.
The old Murray. And that's Ian McLean's, the B-dub.
Yep. Oh, there's a better of one up there.
Yeah, well that old Mark 1 Zephyr.
Yep.
I bought before I came north. I had it when I was down when I lived down south, but I moved up north here.
Yeah.
And I got that surfboard. It would have been I'm not sure whether I got it in late 61, early 62.
Yeah.
Or later during 62.
So did it have a brand name on it, or was it
No,
just
no.
So someone
It was just all painted white, with
Yep.
white paint,
Yeah.
and the glass had let go on the top
Yeah.
from kneeling on it.
Yeah.
So I got in with a saw and I cut a bloody chunk out of it
Yeah.
and glassed it all over, and I never even gel coated it or anything. I just glassed it over and left it bloody rough, and I rode it.
So it would have been a homemade one, or someone.
Pretty
was
well,
like,
I think, Laurie, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you couldn't get a brand name in those days, like it was.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's a beauty.
But those photos there are of the reunion.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
71 was it?
Yep.
No, 91 or something.
Yep, yep.
I've still got one of the shirts from that too.
Yeah, I've got the shirt.
Got
from
the
that.
supporters
Yep,
shirt.
Yep. That's the place getters. Yep, I was there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start. Can we ask you how old you are, Barry?
69.
69. And can I ask you why you started surfing? How did you get interested in surfing?
Well, my schoolmate, his parents had a batch at Waihi Beach.
Yep.
And I used to go down there every Christmas, and that from when I'd been about 16, I suppose.
So were you living in Auckland at that stage?
No, I was down in Waikato. I lived at Waitaha,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
halfway between Morrinsville and Te Araha.
Yep.
We were on a farm,
Yep.
and he was a schoolmate. We went
Yeah.
to primary school together, and we used to go down to the batch every Christmas. Here I went down as a mate for him, you know,
Yep. Yep.
and we used to body surf,
Yep.
and we had long flat boards, you know.
Were they just a timber board?
Timber
or?
board, yeah,
Yep,
just
Yep. Yep.
just 3/4 of an inch thick.
You know they're selling those now? You
Yeah,
can go to that
yeah.
little surf shop in Kama
Yeah.
and buy one of those.
They'd be out of plywood now.
Polonia, I think, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a balsa wood.
Yeah.
Simple, yeah.
And we started on those and just going in on those. Plus they used to have lilos,
Yeah,
which were like an air mattress,
yeah.
so long.
And that's coming back again too.
And they
you've
used
got
to have those down there at the beach, and we used to get those.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
started on these others, and then probably the surf club boys at Waihi Beach had boards,
Yeah.
couple of boards.
They had like the surf ski things that they
The
probably
big wooden surf skis,
They
yeah,
did
with the
stand up
paddles,
on-
yep. And
So was there many people at Waihi Beach surfing in the early 60s? Or
no,
hardly
no.
anyone, perfect.
it was only surf club guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Were the only ones that did it,
Yeah.
and they were doing it on their surf skis.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the Malibu started to come in.
yeah.
So, in fact, when I came to Whangarei in, was it April 63, March 63, I could have probably counted on one hand the number of guys that were surfing here.
Yeah, yeah. So it would have been Ross Edge, two.
Ross Edge, Don Edge,
Yeah,
Tu Wordley, Johnny Bruce,
yeah,
Chris Fraserhurst,
yeah,
and some of the surf club boys, mainly the Waipu Cove,
yeah,
because Ruakaka was just sort of starting up,
yeah.
and Dennis Sterling was there, and different ones like that.
I think both those presidents belonged to the Tari Surf Club in that when you
Yes, they
guys
did.
got it going.
They did, yeah.
So tell me about the Tari Surf Club. How did that get going in Whangarei? What?
Well, it started from every Friday night we used to meet in town.
Yep. Friday
Night shopping, you know.
Yep.
And we'd go to town and you'd meet up with the guys and you'd be discussing things of what was happening in the weekend and that sort of thing. And you'd sort of discuss bits and pieces and that, and the suggestion was sort of kicked around. Is this the one? This is the one. What we're going to be doing in the weekend and that sort of thing. And it was suggested we get a club going.
Yeah.
And this was sort of kicked around for a while. Yeah, 65, 66. I was president, we started it.
Yeah. So that first meeting was at your house, I take it?
8 Grey Street.
Yeah. And how many people turned up roughly?
Shit, the lounge was chock-a-block.
Yeah. So.
There was people sitting everywhere and the whole floor was covered with bodies.
Yeah, yeah.
There would have been, I would say, 25 to 30 people.
That's a good turnout, because it was probably just word of mouth. It wasn't advertised in
No,
the paper.
no, it was only just
people you knew.
Just the ones that sort of were around, you know, a lot of the young ones that were coming in and that. There might not have been that many, there might have only been 20. I didn't sort of take particular notice.
But Friday night was a big thing downtown, wasn't it? Everyone met to find out where the surf was,
you
where
know,
the parties were, that sort of thing.
You'd gone down and got your surf mags and you were standing on the street talking those. Yeah. And I'll never forget Too Wordley, whenever he met you in the street, he'd wander up the street. And Glennis and I had just started going together at that stage, and Too'd went up, "G'day, cock, how are you?" And that was Too'y.
Yeah.
You know, and as he was in those days, But it was just, you know, you hit me with a bird and Too'y, "G'day, cock," you know.
He didn't mind what he said,
Didn't worry Glennis either, but
no,
you know,
no.
it was just sort of that sort of thing, you know. But and that's sort of how it started off. And then you'd meet there and the guys would say, "Oh, we're going out so and so and so and so," and we'd sort of meet up and travel on, you know.
Yeah. So later on, the club, you formed a committee that night, sort of thing. Yep. And that's all in that book there.
There's actually a report here, annual report of the Tari Surf Riders.
Yep.
Which I wrote. Well, there you are. It all started a little over 12 months ago at the Cove when Liz Worsfold approached Ross, myself and a few others about starting up a club to bring surfers throughout New Zealand North closer together.
Yeah.
Nothing was done for a couple of weeks, and on one Friday night we were talking surf at the usual spot downtown. It was suggested we have a meeting, get something started. The meeting was held and this was my report sort of at the end of it after 12 months.
Because it got quite big there, like in the 67 season. Some of those socials and like the first contest they had at Waipu, there was a lot of people there, so everyone was behind it.
Oh yeah, well you know, where they used to have the boat show down at the old AMP Hall, and we used to have the Malibu races up the Hatia River and back.
I just read in there, Ainsley Night was our entrance for the Miss Akorama or something like that.
Yeah, Akorama, that's what it was,
I
Ainsley,
remember that.
Yeah, all that sort of thing, there's all sorts of bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But I think that is practically all the magazines we had. What is the...
Yeah, I'd love, if you could leave them with me, I would love to put them on a data stick and I'll copy everyone out, that would be fantastic. So tell me about your first board. Was just someone had made it, no brand name. What was your second board you've got? And I think you've still got
Peter Way.
Peter Way, So where did you buy that? In town here?
I bought it in Auckland. I went to Peter and he made it for me.
So it's a custom board?
It was a custom made board, what I wanted.
It's bloody flash, mate, you know.
Well, it was in those days.
Yeah.
It was in those days. You know, you just sort of didn't get custom made boards.
No. So tell me about where where'd you go surfing mostly in Whangarei? I know you guys travelled around a lot, but where was...
Later on we did, but
Yeah.
earlier on it was the Cove or Langs,
Yeah,
Sandy Bay,
yeah.
Ocean Beach.
And I've seen you out Sandy Bay probably about 10 years ago, and you were still into it. I don't
Yeah,
know when you last caught a wave, that doesn't matter, but...
It's more than a couple of weeks ago, Larry. It is probably might have even been, it could be going back 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, I thought it might be only 10 or 12 years
Because
ago.
what's Andy? Andy's 37
Yeah,
next week, Monday, tomorrow.
yeah,
And he'd have probably been 16, 17.
yeah,
Because I got back into it when he started surfing and he had no vehicle to get to the beach.
yeah, yeah,
So I used to take him out.
yeah. And that's, I remember going with both my kids,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was great to get, I get out with my grandson now.
Yeah.
I've got 5 of them now, but it's just something that it's great to do with your kids.
Oh yeah, well,
Fully like
you know,
way you
it
can.
was, it also helped Andrew in the fact that I sort of taught him what to look for.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we would go to the beach. The moment we got to the beach, his mates would be out of the car, they'd have their boards off, into their wetsuits and they were in the water.
yeah.
Andy and I would sit in the car for half an hour.
Watch for rips and where the best
And we were
rides are.
just looking at the surf, where the breaks were, where the rips were, the condition of the beach, sitting there putting the clock on it.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Then we'd get into our gear, and away we'd go out.
Yeah,
And it wasn't until later on that Andy said to me, he said, you know, he said, Dave Smiley, he said, can't understand why you and I sit in the car when we get to the beach, we're missing waves. I said, what waves did we miss, Andy?
yeah,
He said, oh, maybe 3 or 4, Dad? I said, exactly. I said, they rush out there and they stuff around in all this little crap on the beach. And I said, what did we do? I said, we went straight back out to where we knew we were going to get some decent waves.
yeah, yeah, it's very good. Now tell me about when you're early 60s surfing, we had no wetsuits, so what did you wear in winter, or you didn't worry about it, just wore a singlet or something like that?
T-shirt.
T-shirt, and that was it?
T-shirt normally, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Just to try and break a bit of the wind chill.
yeah. Oh,
And you'd still stay in the water for probably 2.5 hours.
yeah, and come in on your big blue and...
Well, I used to know it was time to get out because my big toe used to flick up over one of the other toes and then get jammed there. It was that bloody cold, you know.
So,
Well, I knew it was time to get out, you know.
Good warning sign.
Yep.
Now, one of your best rides? Have you got a best ride or a best surf session? Where did you have one of those days where it was just fantastic? You must have one of those.
The point?
Marsden Point there.
No, the point at Raglan.
Oh, Raglan. Yep, yep,
We were out there, mate and I went over from Waihi Beach in summer.
yep. What year are you talking about, Barry?
That would have been probably 64, probably Christmas 64 it could have been.
You would have to jump the road. The road didn't go there, so you had to jump the fence and walk down through the paddock to get there, or you talking right out.
We went out quite a way around the coast.
Yeah,
We were on the road and we just sort of stopped on the side of the road, took our boards off and walked out on the rocks and leapt into the water.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know even how far out we were, probably at the sort of the first area of the
Yeah.
point when you got to it, you know.
Yeah, Manu Bay, I'd say. Yeah.
It would have been, in my estimations, 6 foot, I suppose.
Yeah. How many out?
2.
2. And you.
My mate and I.
That was it. No
That
one
was
else.
it.
Yeah.
And it was glassy.
Yeah, yeah. Summertime or?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah, yeah. So there wasn't that
There was
many
nobody there.
people. Yeah, yeah.
We couldn't believe we were expecting people there. And there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And I leapt in the water and away out I went and I got a ride that would have probably taken me 200 or 300 yards, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. That's just like heaven to a young surfer, isn't it? You know?
It would have been, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I had another good one at Waihi Beach. We were out there one day and it would have been a northerly swell coming down the coast, I suppose, and it wrapped round, I don't know whether you know Waihi Beach at all.
A little bit. I've been there a couple of times, yeah.
Well, this is at the north end of the beach where the surf club was, and you know how the big point goes out?
Yeah.
Well, they were breaking out starting to break off the point.
Oh, so it's fair size surf. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
bloody big.
Yeah.
in my estimation in those days. And I picked it up just out off the point, and I finished up way up the beach, up past the surf club.
Yeah, that's a bloody good ride, yeah.
It just was, it's the only time I've ever seen Waihi Beach like it, and
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
some big surf there and that. And there was had the odd good day at Ahipara
Yeah.
as well at Reek Bay,
Yeah.
when there was probably 10 or a dozen of us up there,
Yeah,
and we all rode a wave each.
yeah. Just one after another, yeah.
You walked round the rocks, you dropped in, you picked up a wave, you rode it into the beach, and then you walked back out round the rocks and dropped in again, and it was just a continual
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
You could have even been there yourself, I don't know.
Did you guys camp in the corner there sometimes?
We
or-
did, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a great little spot, wasn't it?
Used to have a tarpaulin, I used to stretch off the roof racks on the car,
Yeah,
peg it out the ground, and we'd just sleep under that.
because when we used to go up to Shippies and around about the same time, I couldn't remember too many local guys. There was probably only 2 or 3 locals,
Yeah, there would have been.
mostly outsiders, and that's how it was. I remember all the funny old vehicles going around the rocks, all the old tractors and Model Ts, but was good stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, they were great days, really.
Yeah, and it's certainly changed a lot there. I've got a neat photo of where you used to go around the rocks, and now the road goes right to the end of beach, so it
Yeah.
really has changed a lot. Yeah, so have you any bad surf accidents over the years, or you have? What was your worst one? I don't know why I'm asking this question, but
Out at Ocean Beach one day, Andy and I went out there, and Ocean Beach was probably 8 foot or so, and
it's
I
a
was
pretty strong
hollowing out.
wave out there. Yeah,
It was a fairly rough day, and I went out on my board, and Andy came out with me, and he was catching a few on his short board, and I wasn't having much success on the big board, so I went in, and I went and got my boogie board. Went out with the flippers and boogie board,
yeah,
and I caught this wave, and it hollowed out behind me, and I just dropped
yeah.
about 6 to 8 feet straight down, landed on my board, and cracked 2 or 3 ribs, and then struggled to get to shore. And I said to Andy, I said, we'd better get out of this, mate. I said, if I bring you home in a body bag, I'm going to get murdered, you know. Oh, I said, it's all right, Dad. He was quite happy, but I was in bloody agony, you know.
There's nothing worse than broken,
Oh,
broken
no,
ribs.
but, you know, that's the way it was, and yeah.
Have you got a couple of funny stories here? You must have a couple of stories that a couple of trips you've been where stupid things have happened or things like that, or we probably can't remember.
Well, it was a situation, I didn't do sort of many trips because I was married by this stage.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're probably only the one, being a bit older than a young fellow like me, that we hadn't found girls and that sort of thing.
No,
really.
see, I'd met up with Glennis,
Yeah,
and we were married in '65.
yeah.
So, you know, this was,
Everything was
we were
taken.
married actually when the club was formed.
Yeah, yeah,
So, of course, we were together, and I must admire her for her tenacity. Every weekend I was at the beach, this is when we were going together,
yeah,
and she would come with me, and she would sit in that car all bloody day, knitting or doing something or reading a book,
yeah.
and that was the way we spent our time before we were married.
I think, well, my wife's the same. She lets me go surfing and doesn't grizzle about it, and I appreciate it because they just give you that bit of space where you can go and enjoy yourself. So,
Well, the only time Glennis would see me was going out to the beach,
yeah,
coming in and having a bite to eat,
yeah,
and then driving home.
yeah,
And that was all day, you know, summer and winter.
yeah. So, oh, I don't know what. Any other funny stories you can think about that?
No.
Tui Worley must have got into some funny tricks or some of those guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, but as I say, you know, I wasn't sort of out a great deal with him. It was later on when Ross Edge and Phil Mashofsky and I used to go out together. The three of us used to go together a lot.
Yeah,
We'd go in one car and we were out at Sandy Bay. Was where, not at Sandy Bay, Maurice's.
yep,
Was where this first started. Where I had my 9'6", Ross had an 8-footer,
yeah,
and Phil had about a 7-footer, I suppose. It was actually one I think that Ross had made.
oh yeah,
We were surfing out there, and of course no leg ropes in those days, so you fell off, you had a long swim to shore.
you had to be a good swimmer, yeah.
But what we used to do is, guy would lose his board, so as you surfed past him, you walked off the nose of your board, pushed it back through the wave, dived into the wave, body surfed into the beach, picked up their board,
Yeah.
left your board for them to get on so they could paddle back out,
Yeah.
and it saved that swimming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you drive to the beach, oh, what have I fucking got this time, you know? And you took whatever you had and you went out and rode it, you know.
No.
And also we used to, if you dropped in on anybody,
Yeah.
you were fair game to pull off the wave.
Yeah. Give them a push or something like that. Or...
No, we just hook rails.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You hook rails, and of course, Ross and I on the bigger boards, we could get the little board out and just pick it over the back with it. And then the guy trying to jump on our board and surf with it, you know.
Yeah.
And one day out at Ocean Beach, we were doing this. We must have been at it for an hour or more, I suppose. We came up for a bit of a breather, and all these kids come down the beach and they started looking at their boards. And I said, what do you want to see, guys? Just want to see the damage on your board. And they looked at our boards and they couldn't find any damage on it.
Yeah. Yeah. They probably had 2 layers of glass and a finish coat and all that sort of thing.
But it was just the way you did it.
Yeah.
You just carefully put your board under the edge of it.
Yeah.
It was none of this driving in and smashing and that. It was more gently done. We were mates. We didn't want to wreck each other's boards, you know. And all that sort of stuff, you know. And it was just the little things like that you used to do.
It's good, mate. Even now I'll share a wave with a few guys and quite interested to follow someone, especially if he's a better surfer than you. You see what he's doing. Like, I remember following old Tui along and I think, man, you know, I'd like to surf like that. So you really watch these guys and that's how you learn, wasn't it? So,
Yeah, well, see, when we started, we didn't have that.
No.
You had to teach yourself. Like, I started off as a goofy footer.
Yeah.
And I changed my stance.
Yeah. So you knew how to put wax and everything on the board straight away?
Yeah.
I remember mate Jack bought a new board and we didn't know they had to put wax on, so we're pretty ignorant about surfing, but
well,
you soon learnt that you had to put something on.
No, we used to go to the grocer's store and buy packets of wax.
Preserving waxes. Yeah.
Preserving wax was a block about 5 or 6 inches long and about 2.5 inches wide, and about 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
And you just snap that in half and you had all these blocks. I've still got some at home now.
Yeah.
The old blocks that I had.
Now, what I was going to ask you too, I've got a surfboard up here that I think was one of the first commercial made surfboards in Whangarei, and I don't know if you know him, Alan Butch Frobisher.
Yep.
Do you know anything about him or where he came from?
There was a Frobisher at...
I think it was Porrowini Avenue. He had a little shop, and I think he was only there for a few months, and it burnt outside. It burnt down, or the inside of it burnt down. So
inside of it burned out. I think it was in the old City Plumbers building.
On there, yeah.
Down underneath where that
there was a little.
There's a little canteen.
Takeaway
place.
In there somewhere.
It was in there somewhere, I think, Laurie.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know.
Ian Butt went surfing with him, and he was trying to form. He was trying to form another club, surf club in Whangarei, but nothing ever happened. But
no.
Had a feeling it was from Auckland. So these other guys in the club that I was talking to, they used to have these competitions with the Auckland guys. I think one was called Surf Syndicate. Were you involved or any of that? Or
no,
not really.
No, not really. No, just sort of in our. Because as I say, I was president. I think for the first year, maybe. Yeah, I think it was only the first year I was president. And then, of course, with I couldn't afford the time to get out with all the guys.
Yeah.
Like I would have liked to, you know.
I think I was only a schoolboy.
Well, yeah. A lot of the guys were just young kids, you know.
Yeah.
Just starting out, you know. Ken Beery and
the young Blomfields and
the Blomfield boys, and even Ian Butt was only a young fella then too, and Tim Fraserhurst.
Yep.
It was mainly sort of 6 or 8 older ones of us that really sort of did a lot together.
You guys got it going. You had a bit more maturity probably than a lot of us, but
yeah, well, you know, when we first went to Ahipara, I think there was 4 of us, all in minis.
Yeah.
We used to get round and you'd have a bloody great convoy of minis with 4 of these bloody big boards on the roof, you know.
You boys used to brush me off because I could never keep up with you.
Well, I must admit there was a little bit of racing went on.
Yeah, they're great little car, weren't they?
Oh yeah. Well, I think I was the first one to get one.
Yeah.
I got it after I got rid of the Zephyr.
Yeah.
And I actually I had a custom-made surf rack made for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you probably couldn't even buy a surf rack. Or
Not a
the
decent
ones with
surf rack.
the stickers on, and they
Yeah.
had one bar in the middle and two stickers, and they were terrible.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. No, well, I had one that actually sat in the gutters.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And that I had it all welded up and chromed, and a mate of mine that was a panel beater made it up for me, and
Yeah.
had it all chromed and put it on. The next thing, Ross Edge made one off it, and
Yeah.
Dennis Sterling I think had one made of it.
Yeah. So Dennis Sterling, is he is he still around? Or?
As far as I know, he's still in Norfolk Island.
Yeah.
When he went away on the Noumea yacht race, he never came home.
So he stayed there. Yeah.
He got as far as Noumea,
Yeah.
not Noumea, Norfolk Island,
Yeah.
and stayed there, and he went into business over there.
Oh, yeah,
He was
yeah.
building over there.
Yeah.
And the last time when I was over in Norfolk, from what I can recall, he was still over there. I never got hold of him, but he was still there as far as I knew.
Now you're talking about Phil, who used to
Phil
surf.
Mashofsky.
Yeah. Now is he still at Wellington's Bay, or where is he? Or,
As far as I know, he is,
I think
Laurie.
he
I
was-
haven't seen Phil for a long time.
actually, I'm going to see Bill and Ora in Durham and
Yeah.
Dave about there. So
They would know, yeah.
they'll know, yeah. Anyone else you think I should have a chat to about the surfing around this time? Or?
Who have you?
You probably mentioned most of them. I've got all their names, most of their names. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of,
Just a matter of getting hold of them, yeah.
I've got, Trevor King gave me the Clooney guy, Mike Clooney.
Mike Cooney,
He's got a bit of a website and he's got some old photographs, so it'd be good.
Mike and Phil,
Yeah,
who was his older brother.
yeah, because I think they
Well,
were.
Mike married Rod Hayward's sister.
Oh yeah, and that's how probably Rod got into surfing too, because he
Pretty
did a
well,
bit,
yeah. Rod was in it.
He
He
could
didn't
old
do a
surf.
great deal. He was, I have an idea he used to ride an Atlas, I think. if
He's
I
still
recall.
got one of his good boards, and I
Yeah.
tried to buy it once, but he wouldn't sell it to me.
Well, it's a bit like mine, you know.
Yeah.
Different ones that said they wouldn't mind getting hold of them. I said, they're more than my life's worth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just can't really get them now. You
Well,
pay enough.
Andy wants it, and my daughter wants it.
Yeah.
Bronwyn wants it too, because she's into surfing now, my eldest daughter.
All right, neat. Yeah.
And she's teaching her kids.
Yeah. So where's she teaching that?
They're up Kyo, and
yeah.
there's a guy up there that has a surf school somewhere up around Tenari, somewhere up there.
Yeah.
There's another beach down this side of there.
Yep.
I can't think of the name of it now, but Tokyo Bay, is it?
Yeah.
Takeo Bay?
Yeah, it's probably
Takeo
that,
Bay?
that sticker right there. Probably them. I think I don't know where they are. where
Could
they,
be. Could be, and
So
they go out there, and this guy's been teaching them.
Yeah. So she's a school teacher up there.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Just
She just wanted to learn to ride. She never wasn't bloody interested. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they didn't even believe that I could bloody surf
Yeah.
when I got the place at the beach.
Yeah.
They'd never seen me on the surfboard, the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. And you dragged out an old photo or two or something, no doubt.
No, I dragged the old board out and took it down to the beach and got out and surfed on it.
Yeah.
Got up the first wave, you know, and they'd never even seen, didn't even believe it.
So
Um,
that's brilliant.
They also, when the skateboards came in, they wanted skateboards.
Yep.
I said, there's one under the house.
Yeah.
Oh, there is not, Dad. I said, there is.
Yeah.
So I went under the house and I pulled out my old skateboard.
Yeah. And that would have been one you would have pulled the wheels off an old skate and made
Cut an old
yourself.
set of skates in half and bolted them on it.
Yeah.
Because if there was no surf, we used to skateboard around the streets here.
Yeah. And they're still getting growled at for skating around the streets. I see they go down the middle of the road. I remember going down Bank Street through the lights here and all that sort of
We
thing.
used to go down there. We
Yeah.
used to do down the Eastern Outlet,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Carmel Hill,
Yeah. Any steep hill.
and the old Western Hills Drive before they straighten out the hill there below
Yeah.
Kensington Ave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down through there. That was a very hard
You were
one.
quite a rebel then, weren't you? It was a lot of fun though.
There was a lot of us though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Morningside, we would start at the top of Morningside and come right round back down to Morningside Park
Yeah, yeah.
on the footpath.
Well, there was no ramps or nothing, nowhere you
No,
could go, was
no,
there? No swimming
No, we'd
pools.
surf we'd do that for about half and 3/4 of an hour in a place and then we'd move because we knew that the locals would be phoning the boys in blue and we were going to get the boys in blue up talking to us, you know, so we just used to move around town.
Yeah, I can remember skateboarding in the old lifesaving club at Waipu at one stage. I don't know, I must have hired it or something, but all the boys were in there with their skateboards. So,
Yeah, yeah.
That's brilliant. I can't. Anything else you want to add to that, or I can't
Well,
think of much?
probably not, Laurie. I think I've just about covered.
Yeah.
Covered most of it.
I enjoyed going to Shippies in those early days.
Oh, shit, so
we,
do I.
we just had a ball. You go and get a feed of mussel. Did you cook mussels up
Yep,
and
yep.
on a fire and a
Yep.
hunk of corrugated iron?
Corrugated
or
iron, just
yeah.
crack them open, yeah.
Or quincy iron or something, throw an egg and a thing.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
It was great fun, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, it was so relaxing,
Yeah, yeah.
and you didn't have the element around that could cause you problems. You could go and camp on the beach. You could leave your bloody gear there. You didn't have to worry about it.
No, I don't know. It was probably why I'm doing this. It was just, I'm not going back in the future. I'm not one of those, but it was just a neat time to grow up in. There was not really any drugs.
No.
There was a lot of alcohol that you know, most of the guys were pretty good with it. You know,
Oh yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
But you know, it wasn't the hard stuff you were drinking.
No, it was just
You're drinking a few beers and that sort
you
of
couldn't
thing.
afford the hard stuff almost.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I also brought down a couple of other bits here.
Yep.
Now this goes back a long way, this one, because it's got my original home address in it. So that goes back.
And that's it, what, early surf stories or something, is it? Or surf? Oh yeah.
It is all jokes.
Yeah.
Surf along.
Yeah.
Photo of a car with two surfboards on. The guy's just limbering up and he's riding his surfboard on top
Yeah,
of the bloody car. You know,
Like
things like that.
They do that today.
Yeah. And then this is going back. I don't know what year it is, but it only cost me 3 shillings. So that's 30 cents in the language today. And it's
What year is that one, Barry?
I don't know, Laurie. I don't think it's got a year on it.
Is that American or New Zealand or
No, this is Australian.
Australia? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
surfing was quite. Who was one of your heroes then? Was it like most of us, Mitch Farrelly and that sort of a?
Yeah, those sort of guys.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, Ross Edge,
Yeah.
when he was surfing, was very much like Midge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is.
I don't think we had to
Australian
look
stuff.
far with Ross Edge and Tui Wordley and those guys around there that, you know, Tui with his dog and all that sort of thing on his board and doing handstands and that's the sort
Yeah,
of
well,
thing
Tui actually went to the New Zealand champs
yeah, very early actually.
very early, and I think he was about
Got fourth or
third or fourth, I think. Yeah.
I think it was 63 or 64 or something.
Yes, it would be somewhere around about there. Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah.
So,
And then you got those and here. Some that I had out for some reason.
is that on the skateboard?
Yep.
Is that you?
No, that's Tui.
Tui. Oh.
It's written on there.
Yeah. Oh, no, mate, I'll have to copy these.
Tui hanging 10.
Yeah. Oh, they're priceless.
There's probably a few others in amongst the bits and pieces of the slides at home as well.
Yeah.
This one,
Waipu Cove. Goes right. That's brilliant.
well, this is the fucking brilliant one. I think that's it. Most of these are of Tui, but that's Candy. Tui's dog.
Ah.
Sitting on a surf reel,
Yeah.
on patrol.
Yeah. And that's Waipu Cove?
That's
Okay.
Waipu Cove, yep.
So Tui was a lifesaver as well, was he at that stage? Or?
He was in the lifesaving
Yeah.
club, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one, I think that is in the Sandhills at Bailey's, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Near he's just coming out of the water, the old granddad.
Oh, neat.
And that's one he's getting tired there, and he's lying down on the board, too tired to fucking stand up. But I'll have to hunt through all the other slides and that at home. And
Yeah. If you've got anything that I could, even an old car or any old, I'd love to copy them and I'll get them back to you in good
Yeah,
condition. Can
yeah.
I do that?
yeah, no problem.
Sure. So I'll turn that thing off.
No problem, mate. But yeah, no, there's some interesting. I just was hunting through and
Yeah, well, those editorials in there are quite neat because
Yeah.
I don't think it actually went for that long, the magazine. I think after 2 or 3 years the club sort of went into recess,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
3 years or 4 years.
Yeah, that was about all it was.
Yeah.
But
Pretty marvellous to get a magazine out. I take my hats off to those guys that
well,
put
this
that
was all. I forget who was sort of doing all the mag. I know Chris Fraserhurst put a lot of bloody time into it.
Yeah, and I think Ian Butt did quite a bit too.
Yeah,
and then it went on to, passed on to Guy Baker and some of those guys, I think.
Yeah. But no, it was interesting, you know, that.
Oh, amazed now, these are such good condition, Barry.
Well, they've just been they're in a big box.
So
No.
can I have these for a week or two and then I'll copy them? And,
Yeah. By all means, Laurie.
And I'll get them back to you.
You know, I've still got stuff there, like, while I was hunting for those, I just found in there some of my old primary school reports, college reports, all the college magazines.
I threw mine out because they were all too bad. I didn't want to keep them.